afternoon from the second age of reason. Why don't you come a little closer? I'm here to talk about something that should be of interest to us all. It has to do with imagination. It has to do with communication. It has to do with a lot of different things. I call it the Intermind. I made 1 or 2 videos about it already, but I think it's time for a refresher. I'm one of those people that people ask me lots of questions. And I don't really know the answers to a lot of things. So sometimes I just make it up as I go along. And I have discovered when I do that, I'm right pretty much of the time. I don't know why I'm right. Well, I think I do now know. And I'm going to share some ideas with you. And maybe they're nonsense and you can just go away. Or maybe you can develop into it a little bit. I think it's part of our next step of our evolution as humans. What I call the Intermind. We've kind of seen a prelude to it in the internet, where we've linked all the knowledge of everything together, and we can go around there, we can make friends, we can find out information, we get ideas and inspiration, and the Intermind, I think, is much like that. The Intermind lets you, well, let's talk about it more in terms of how you would use it. So I would say, to start using it, what you do is you want to make yourself do creative thinking. So think of a story, a novel, nothing you've already heard. Just make something up. A sci-fi, fantasy, anything. Technical, anything. Think something up. Just make it up as you go along. Then, try to make it as wild and as preposterous as possible. Write it down. Think it through from end to end. And then, do it some number of times. And after a while, see if you don't come across that someplace else. You can maybe do a verification, through your internet searching. You wrote it down on a piece of paper, and then you look it up. Some things you may find to already exist and be true. You'll wonder, how is that? I just made that up out of nothing. Well, it wasn't out of nothing. I think your imagination tapped into the Intermind. The Intermind is this huge, giant, shared thought that is out there, and we can all tap into it. And when you did so, you either dipped into it and you pulled ideas out of the Intermind that already were there, or maybe you really did have a novel and interesting idea, and you poured it into the Intermind, and others picked up on it. Origination is not as important as, what would you say, instantiation or manifestation, that it would manifest your idea in some way. Knowing eventually that at some point you can control it, and you can control what is created and manifested, and you can control where you can get ideas and inspiration from this Intermind. And I think people of like mental frequencies probably swim in similar pools in the Intermind. So you might say, what's the advantage of that? Well, it helps reinforce things. And also, if there are, say, counter processes, they would have trouble getting to you. Okay, so I'm using the Intermind right now. That if someone is not a friend, someone is not helping, or whatever, you have trouble interacting with them because they're in a different pool, a different frequency than you. And so that's my take on the Intermind. There are, I would think, links to other thoughts. And that's how we can navigate the Intermind. It's a great river of ideas. And things pour into it, and you can draw out of it. So that's all I have to say for today. I was just wondering if any of you have tapped into it. Maybe you call it something else. What I call the Intermind. Because at some point, maybe internet will go away. And if internet goes away, or we get subverted, or things you then get changed along the way, we may all have to convert into the Intermind. And the better we know how to use the Intermind, we could still be in contact and communicate or share ideas beyond that point in time. So, that's all I have to say for now. Comment, rate, whatever. Be seeing you.